Where were you on January 26th, 2020? Despite this day now being 1,460 days ago, I bet a lot of you can remember exactly where you were when the news broke that Kobe Bryant was tragically killed.
The loss of Kobe Bryant.
What appears to be Kobe Bryant's helicopter.
The tragic death of NBA legend Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
I just don't have a lot to say.
Kobe Bryant's death is one of the few moments where everything around me stopped. Nothing else mattered at the time. There was no arguing, there was no drama, everybody just stopped and mourned. It was a surreal feeling for the whole world, but nobody took this passing worse than NBA fans. Kobe is very important to the game of basketball, and to find out on one random Sunday that he was gone at the young age of 41 years old, it just didn't make sense, and it still doesn't. Today, it's been exactly 4 years since his passing, and instead of letting this day bring us down, I thought it'd be best to use this as a way to celebrate the life and the career of Kobe Bryant. Most people at 17 years old are just trying to make it past high school, and most 17-year-olds have no idea what they're gonna do in the future. But when Kobe Bryant was 17, he was having his parents co-sign a $3.5 million NBA contract. Coming out of Lower Merion High School, he was a sought-after prospect after playing all 5 positions on his high school team and winning 4 state championships in 4 years. His father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, was an NBA player as well, playing for the Philadelphia 76ers, the San Diego Clippers, and the Houston Rockets in the 70s and early 80s. With the 1996 draft being one of the best ever, players like Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, Ray Allen, and Stephon Marbury got way more attention than Kobe did. And he wouldn't get drafted until the 13th overall pick, where he was drafted by the team we all know and love him for, the Charlotte Hornets. This would obviously not last long, as the Hornets would trade the 17-year-old Kobe to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Vlade Divac. And in this same exact summer, the Lakers, with the help of Jerry West, would sign Shaquille O'Neal from the Orlando Magic. Shaq had just gotten swept in the Eastern Conference Finals by Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And although the Magic won 60 games the year before, Shaq knew he wasn't going to be able to have any long-term success with this Magic team. Penny Hardaway was getting older, and Shaq wanted to be an all-time great. So, the duo of Kobe and Shaq was born, but not to the start you might think. In his debut, he dropped a whopping 0 points. Only playing 6 minutes off the bench, he missed the only shot he took and was carried to the win by Shaq, who had 35 points and 19 rebounds. He went on to average 7.6 points, 1.3 assists, 1.9 rebounds, while making the NBA All-Rookie second team. He would also enter the dunk contest his rookie year and win it, which was cool, but Kobe was a fierce competitor, and all Kobe cared about was becoming the greatest basketball player of all time. And to be the best, you gotta beat the best and win as many NBA championships as you can. Similar to what Michael Jordan was at the time. At this point in the 90s, Michael Jordan was a god amongst men. He had won 4 championships, and they had the greatest regular season record of all time just the season before, winning 72 games and only losing 10. Like I mentioned earlier, the Bulls swept the Magic that season, which obviously hurt Shaq a lot. And after being 0-1 in the finals and just getting swept in the conference finals, Michael Jordan went over to the young Shaq and gave him some words of advice. Before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. And while this advice helped Shaq a lot, I think this piece of advice suits Kobe better than anybody else. Because in the 1997 playoffs against the Utah Jazz in the first round, Kobe failed worse than most people ever will.
The young rookie straight from high school. 8 seconds left. Bryant guarded by Russell. 5 seconds left. 4. Bryant drives. Pull up. Shot on the way. No good. Carvalho rebounds. We go to overtime. One bounce. Wide right. Van Exel fakes stock away. Cross court left. Open Kobe Bryant for 3. Another air ball. He shoots back-to-back air ball. Jazz basketball. Over to Carvalho. 50-footer for the base. Yes. Stockton to Malone. Stockton to Malone. Jazz up 93-89. Driving to the hoop. Crashes in the tag. Banks it in. No foul. Kobe Bryant with 11 points. Brian Exel backs it out. Straight away to Kobe Bryant. Bryant for 3. It's short again. Airball. Airball. The young rookie. 3 times. He shot airballs. Here at pressure. Stockton with the ball. First to Van Exel. Van Exel front court. Jazz with him. Stockton all over him. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. Here's a 3-pointer. Airball again by Kobe Bryant. Another airball. 4 seconds left. It's Stockton. It's over. It's over. I do believe. It's over. It's all over.
Kobe shot 4 air balls in the fourth quarter and overtime of a elimination game. To fail like he did in front of the whole world, there is no worse feeling. But just like Michael Jordan told Shaq, before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. This moment laid the foundation for his success later on, and it showed his resilience in early stages of that Mamba mentality. The Lakers were a solid playoff team for the next few years, but they were never able to quite get over that hump. Kobe took a while to develop due to him being so young and not always getting the minutes he wanted, and Shaq was growing impatient. He knew that his prime was here and he needed to win now, but the NBA was still being ruled by a Chicago Bulls dynasty. The Chicago Bulls were finishing their second three-peat in 1 decade, and they had titled the 1998 season The Last Dance, which I'm sure you all heard about in the Last Dance documentary. The 1998 finals came along, and Michael Jordan led the Bulls to their 6th championship, and he would end his career with the Bulls right after. But this wasn't just the end of Michael Jordan's run with the Bulls, it was also the end for one of the greatest coaches of all time, Phil Jackson. The Chicago Bulls were as good as they were because of the talent on their team, obviously, but a lot of their success came from Phil Jackson's coaching ability. His signature triangle offense and many other unique coaching styles made him one of the best ever, if not the best. And after The Last Dance in 1998, Phil Jackson was done with the Bulls too. So he took his talents to sunny California and joined the Lakers. Kobe started developing into the Black Mamba we know today. Shaq became the most dominant player of all time. And well, you know what happens next. 3 championships in a row. Kobe and Shaq dominated everybody in front of them, and they became one of the most respected duos ever. But Shaq and Kobe were a lot different than the great duos before them. They weren't Magic and Kareem, or Jordan and Pippen, or Stockton and Malone. They had something about them that no other duo before them had, and that was they fucking hated each other. They were the complete polar opposites, and Kobe was getting tired of the narrative around him that he can't win without Shaq. Despite the amazing performances that Kobe was having, Shaq was the clear number 1. He was the finals MVP every year, and he had the spotlight on him, while Kobe was looked at as the sidekick. Despite the issues they had between each other, it didn't affect their games at all, and it was hidden behind the glory and the bright lights of 3 straight titles. But what's hidden in the dark will always find a way to shine. And when the Lakers lost to the Spurs in the next year's Western Conference Finals, things got ugly quick. Shaq thought Kobe was a selfish player and heavily critiqued his style of play, and Kobe thought Shaq was lazy and didn't work as hard as he should. Things got so bad between them that Kobe actually almost got into a fight with Shaq. As much as I love Kobe and that Mamba mentality, looking at these two side by side, I can't imagine this would have ended too well for Kobe. Despite all the problems they had, somehow they still made it to the finals in 2004, and they were matched up against the Detroit Pistons. In what should have been a relatively easy series for the Lakers, they lost. Kobe was out trying to prove a point. He wanted to prove that he didn't need Shaq to win and that he could be the team's best player. which you can imagine did not help the team's chemistry at all. At the time, this made Kobe one of the most scrutinized players in the NBA. All the media would do was call him selfish, and nobody thought he would ever win without Shaq. This story may make some of you look at Kobe in a negative light, but it makes sense when you understand the severity of being the sidekick. The sidekick isn't just notorious in basketball. In movies, games, shows, and any sort of pop culture, there's always the sidekick. People still like the sidekick, but they will never be able to escape the shadow of the main character. It's not a fun place to be, and at this point in Kobe's career, as great as he was, if he never won anything else past this point, he'd be in Shaq's shadow forever. If there's one thing you need to know about Kobe Bryant, besides his amazing basketball talent, it's that the man is obsessed with competition. He could care less about the money and the fame and the fortune. All Kobe wanted to do was be the greatest player of all time, and he was not about to spend the rest of his career in Shaq's shadow. Call it selfish, call it whatever you want, it happened, and he basically ran Shaq out of LA. Because right after the 2004 finals, he joined the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade. The young Dwayne Wade and a getting older Shaquille O'Neal were good enough to win the championship in 2006, giving Shaq one more championship than Kobe. And again, Kobe is a little crazy, so you know this got under his skin. During this time, Kobe finally had the Lakers to himself and the ball to himself, which resulted in him having some of the greatest individual scoring performances ever. But this style of play did not result in winning. The 2005-2006 Lakers team consisted of players like Andrew Bynum, Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, and Luke Walton. And Kobe Bryant took more shots a game than all of those players combined. He played 40 minutes each night, shooting 27.2 field goal attempts per game, and had some scoring performances we will never see again. December 20th, 2005, he dropped 62 points on the Dallas Mavericks. Which, yes, obviously 60 points is impressive, but you're probably thinking, Dylan, people have 60-point games all the time. What made this one so special? But what if I told you that Kobe had this 62-point game only in 3 quarters? It took him 3 quarters to do what Kevin Durant has never done once. And when you really get into the stats of this season, it doesn't make sense. He had 21 40-point games and had at least 30 points in 56 of the 80 games he played. But there's still one more achievement just from this season that ranks above the rest. 81 points in 1 game. I know Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game is still the single game scoring record, and not that I think it's staged or faked like everyone else does, but we don't have any videos to go look back on it. So, this Kobe Bryant 81-point game is literally the highest scoring performance that we can actually go back and watch in NBA history. For the next 2 years, the narrative around Kobe was that he was a great individual player and scorer, but he couldn't lead a team and he was selfish. Based off of interviews after his career, and even some during, this drove him crazy at the time. He knew that he had the talent and the hunger to win more championships, and he was officially on the hunt to prove that. In February of 2008, the Lakers got Pau Gasol, one of the best centers in the league at the time. Pau didn't have the ego and the need for the ball like Shaq, but he was a very solid scorer and rebounder and a perfect co-star for a Kobe Bryant-led team. This was also the year that Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, and Ray Allen formed the first ever big super team in the NBA on the Celtics. The Celtics matched up against the Lakers in the finals and beat them in 6 games. And according to Kobe, this was a turning point.
We lost in the finals to the Celtics in 2008. That was a turning point because it's on me. If I didn't feel like my teammates were aggressive enough, that falls on me.
Just to show you how much Kobe cared about winning, during the 2008 Olympics, Kobe was joining Team USA for the first time. And they were matched up against a very solid Spain team, led by Pau Gasol, Kobe's teammate and friend. You can imagine it'd be hard to play competitively against somebody on your team and somebody you consider a friend. So, you might be wondering, what did Kobe Bryant do when he had to play against his teammate? He ran right through his chest. Now, I can understand how that story makes Kobe sound like a total asshole, and I understand, but things like that I'm sure motivated Pau Gasol a lot. If he wasn't able to win the gold, he could still win that Larry O'Brien Finals trophy, and that is exactly what him and Kobe did. The Lakers beat the Magic pretty easily, only losing one game, and Kobe proved he could win a championship without Shaq's help. But there was still more to prove. Kobe grew up a big Lakers fan, more specifically, a fan of Magic Johnson. He watched Magic Johnson go head to head with Larry Bird what seemed like every single year during the 80s. The Lakers and the Celtics have been bitter rivals since the very beginning of basketball. And since Kobe had been a Laker for 13 years, he had been mentored by Laker legends like Jerry West and Magic Johnson. And there was one big thing that he had taken from him, and that is, to be a great Laker, you gotta beat the Celtics.
Rebound to Sol, kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
This was one of the greatest final series ever in my opinion. A 7-game war between these two teams, and Kobe wins his 5th championship. And this is how much it meant to Kobe.
It means as a team, but what about individually for you?
Just got one more than Shaq.
As glorious of a moment as this was for Kobe, this would sadly be the last time we'd see him at the top, fully himself. Because on April 12th, 2013, the Lakers were matched up against the young Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. This was a deciding game on if the Lakers were going to make the playoffs or not, and halfway into the third quarter, his career would change forever.
0 for 6. As he has it, spinning in trouble. Oh, and he's limping, he's hurt. Kobe's hurt. And I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. Bryant again going to work, falls down. Again, he's struggling.
The Achilles tear, the kryptonite of all athletes, and one that is nearly impossible to come back from. This is Kobe 17 years into his career, getting an injury at this magnitude. There's no way he'd be able to even walk, right?
But the Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. Got it.
Yeah, not backpedaling or whatever you have to do to get to the other end. If in fact he gets to the other end before a foul, maybe.
Made him. Lakers might foul. They might foul to get him out of the game. Now they have to. Yeah. Kobe's coming out.
Yeah, I mean that's the Achilles. I shouldn't say that's the foot injury.
So Kobe Bryant cannot continue. Crowd. The ovation.
I would assume he'd go straight to the locker room.
This was the Mamba mentality at its finest. An injury that has literally prevented players from even standing up did not stop Kobe Bryant from shooting his free throws and walking off the court himself. This was a great, memorable moment for Kobe, but sadly one of the last great moments he'd ever have. The next few years he was somehow able to come back, but you could tell he was a shell of himself. It was pretty sad to watch. Everybody knew we were watching the end of a legendary career, and his farewell tour began in the 2015-2016 season, his 20th season in the NBA. Everybody enjoyed watching the Mamba work for his last year, but the Lakers were nowhere close to being good enough to even make the playoffs, which left his final game on April 13th, 2016. The hype around this game was unreal, and his former teammate and rival, Shaquille O'Neal, decided to add a little bit more fuel to the fire.
Kobe, they're doing a big celebration for you the last game. A lot of us are going to be there. Can you promise me one thing?
What's up?
I need 50 that night. Can you do it? Your last home game at the Staples. Can you give us 50?
More than two.
No. No, absolutely not.
Shaq asked Kobe to drop one more 50-point game. One more 50-piece, one that he had done many times before. But Kobe says no, because how would he do that? There is no way a player in their 20th season, in their last game, after going through a Achilles tear, should be dropping over 50 points.
And desperate to get to the basket and score. And he does. The Lakers gave a foul. Kobe came out. Here he is for three. Ingram staying right with him. Bryant scores anyway.
9 players from Brazil this year. I think that would surprise a lot of people.
45. Here. Bryant going to the basket. Kobe Bryant. There it is. A 50-point game. Final minute 30. Bryant from 14 has 53. Kobe's got the Lakers' last 10. Bryant for 3. Go! Will Kobe give them one last gamer? Bryant on the move with the jumper. He got it! 58 points! And the Lakers lead!
And here he stands in his very last game at the free throw line. Ironically, the same place he scored his first points 20 years earlier. And against the same exact team that he shot 4 airballs against 20 years earlier. If he hits these 2 free throws, the last image we have of Kobe Bryant is a 60-point game.
To go, timeout Utah.
Kobe goes directly to Shaq, the man that challenged him to get 50 points, only for him to drop 60 instead, and the incredible career of Kobe Bryant came to an end. The next year, Kobe became the first NBA player to ever have 2 jerseys retired by one team, his number 8 and his number 24. He then went on to win an Oscar for his animated short film, Dear Basketball. I will play it for you guys, but I'm not really trying to get copyrighted, but I heavily suggest you go watch it for yourself. It's a heartfelt poem he wrote in a tribute to the game of basketball from Kobe Bryant himself, and proof of how much he cared about it and how much he loved basketball. The man was a legend, even in retirement. An athlete winning an Oscar in retirement is unheard of. And he was a great family man. He took a lot of pride in helping his girls play basketball, and that became his life after the league. But sadly, this is where the story of Kobe Bryant ends. In the most unexpected, deflating way imaginable, on one random Sunday at the beginning of 2020, the news broke that Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna had passed away due to a helicopter crash. The world could not believe it. Just 4 years earlier, we were watching him play his final game in the NBA. He had so much more left to do and accomplish, but it's the sad truth of life that any given day could be our last. Kobe was so much more than a basketball player. He was an inspiration to an entire generation of kids, athletes, and damn near everybody that got to know of his story and his mindset. Kobe was the definition of falling down and getting back up. Fall down 10 times, get up 11. He taught us to believe in yourself, even when it gets hard, and even when the mission seems impossible. The Mamba mentality has been adopted by the next generation of ambitious, resilient hard workers, and to anybody with a dream, Kobe Bryant is a role model. The lessons that he taught could go on for hours and hours, but if there's one thing that Kobe's career and life could be passed down to the next generation of basketball players and people in general, it's that you can accomplish anything in this world if you're willing to put the work in, and if you got that Mamba mentality.